some more observations. I'm so distracted with the dog thing that I'm really falling behind on school because I don't have help with it. So the whole point of inviting the Mormons over when they called me was I was like, great, I can actually get some fucking people to help. But no, they're fucking worthless too. We promote self-sufficiency, so pay us and fuck you. They're like the Jews. But the dog, I. So my roommate is really strong, but he's really dumb. And this is what I mean when I say what good is a strong body when you have a weak mind. I need someone to force the fucking jaws of the dog open and keep them open as I shove a fucking camera down the throat, or at least use it like a flashlight so I can see in a little better. And I need him to hold the tongue too. Now the roommate failed at this earlier because I told him I very specifically had this conversation prior to feeding the dog. I said you gotta hold him still, no matter how much he whines and cries and shakes. You can't be emotional about it. If you're emotional, he'll die. If you let your bleeding heart, my dog's in pain, the dog will fucking die. He won't get food unless you force it down his throat against his will and while he cries. And this worked. I was right. This is where emotions fuck things up. And this is the case with the dog. And the camera down his throat is if the guy's like, oh, the dog's in pain, and loosens his grip, the dog will bite the camera and possibly break it off and swallow it, or rip it and pull the laptop down, or something bad. So, because I can't count on anybody, because society is such shit that that's the only option for help that I have is, a moron who's emotionally unstable and exploited by a dog. Like the dog emotionally manipulates him. Um, I have this conversation with it constantly, right? Like you're supposed to be the dog's master. It's not supposed to be your master, but it clearly owns you and dictates what you do, not the other way around. People are such idiots. But it's like parenting, right? The dog's will, the child's will. No, they don't always want what's best for them. It's up to you as the responsible party to defy their will and go against their will if it means doing what is best for them, like saving their lives. So I'm already thinking if there's a way that I could set up some sort of rope system, right? Get like a sort of a noose type knot, but I want to be able to loosen it afterwards and tie one to the top, maybe a sort of lag bolt into the ceiling or something up high. Maybe I could even use that exercise thing that I have that's holding up the plants. And then another one that pulls down, right? So opposite pulling directions. And this could eliminate human error, but at the same time, the dog can move his head sideways, back. He could fight it. I only have one hand. So I got to figure out something really stable and solid. If I command the roommate, if I'm like, don't fucking loosen up, he'll have a anxiety attack and run off in the middle of it like a bitch, and the dog will die. So this reminds me of being a captain on a boat. Sometimes you have to control and dominate people for their own good because their brains are stupid. And not everyone, but lower intelligent people like this, especially. Because the roommate loves the dog. He doesn't want the dog to die. He's like George from Of Mice and Men. He's like Algernon without the smart pills from the book Flowers for Algernon. Yeah. So he doesn't want the dog to die, but he's too stupid to save the dog's life. He's literally limited by his insufficient mental capacity, right? So it's quite a challenge. I hit up the other neighbor, but the other neighbor is a Mexican, so he's kind of a drunk. Literally, like that guy said, he would get the dog a female, so the dog could have puppies before he dies, because the dog's been old for a very long time, and it just never happened because he's a drunk Mexican. Oh yeah, I was gonna do that. I forgot. So I can't really count on anyone. If this is gonna happen, I'm gonna have to figure out how to do the job of 3 to 5 hands with only one hand, and this could include dominating the roommate's mind to force him to do what I want, which is holding the dog's jaw open without, flexing out of emotion. So it's a tricky circumstance, but I think it's possible. I think especially if he depresses the tongue, and that's the problem with people that are mentally compromised. If I can explain to him, press the tongue, it'll give me a clear view. Hold his chin up, and I can look down. I can see what's going on better. All you got to do is force his jaws open as wide as you can. You don't have to hurt him. He'll fight, he'll clench, he'll whine, but you can feel the extension. If you're smart, you can know about the mechanisms of the jaw muscles and the stretch of the skin and things like that, and so you can feel when it's too much. This man is an idiot, so he probably won't be able to do that. And you can also do it in such a way that the pressure is only on the inside of the jaw where the teeth are, but not on the nostrils, so the dog can still breathe through the nose as well as the mouth. The dog will whine. We don't have anesthesia, but he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll live. If I can instruct the roommate before it happens, the roommate will probably forget as it's happening because his mind will want, poor dog. His mind will wander, and he'll fuck it up. So it's a challenge for sure. I'm thinking I have these sort of old electric cords, and that's at least strong material that'll hold the dog's jaw open. But what can I tie it to, and then how can I do it in such a way that the dog can't loosen it up or get out of it or break things?